The chamber glowed with a dim, pulsating light, like the inside of some vast creature. The air was heavy with perfume and tension. Standing at the center was Commander Jonas Red, the lone human envoy to the Viren Dominion, an empire of alien matriarchs who ruled half the galaxy. Before him sat the Queen of VYR, towering and radiant, her body woven from pale gold carapace and living silk. Around her stood 6 of her daughters, each shaped by genetic perfection, tall, graceful, flawless. And one more, standing slightly behind the others, smaller, her armor chipped, her eyes dim but defiant. That one was Calith, the mocked child. The Queen's voice echoed through the chamber. Human Commander, your world stands on the edge of famine and collapse. The Dominion offers alliance, but our traditions demand a blood bond. Jonas bowed. I understand. Then you must choose, she continued. One of my daughters will be your bondmate. Through her, humanity joins our dynasty. The daughters smiled, cold, practiced political smiles. All except Calith, who looked away, her gill frills twitching nervously. Jonas studied them one by one. Each was perfect by Viren standards, symmetrical, radiant, genetically enhanced. And yet, perfection had a strange emptiness to it. He glanced again at Calith. Her posture was rigid, but her eyes, those eyes burned with something the others didn't have. Fear, maybe, or something deeper. Humanity. I choose her, he said quietly, pointing to Calith. The room froze. The Queen tilted her head, golden spines rippling in surprise. You choose that one? Yes, Jonas said. She's the only one who didn't look at me like a resource. Gasps rippled through the court. The perfect daughters hissed in disbelief. Calith's mouth opened slightly, not in triumph, but in shock. So be it, said the Queen after a long silence. But know this, human, she carries no titles, no favor, and no power. Your choice will be seen as weakness. Jonas met her gaze. Then weakness is what your empire needs. The beginning. The ceremony was brief, but the consequences were enormous. The moment Jonas and Calith shared the mark of unity, he became a figure of scandal in both empires. Humans whispered that he doomed them by bonding with a defective alien. The Virens laughed that their queen had pawned off her broken daughter. Calith said little. She followed orders, performed her duties as liaison, and avoided eye contact. The alliance moved forward uneasily. Their ship, Eclipsera, became their exile. They traveled between colonies, enforcing peace treaties and resource shipments, always under suspicion, always unwelcome. One night, as Jonas stared out into the void from the observation deck, Calith approached quietly. Why did you choose me? She asked. He turned to her. Because you looked afraid. The others looked bored. She frowned. Fear is not a virtue. No, he said, but honesty is. For the first time, she smiled, a small, hesitant thing, like a star just beginning to form. The middle. Months passed. Their partnership deepened, not out of romance, but shared exile. Calith proved to be a brilliant strategist, often contradicting Jonas's plans, sometimes improving them, sometimes infuriating him. When pirates ambushed a relief convoy, she single-handedly led the counterattack, boarding their vessel with terrifying precision. The human soldiers who once mocked her soon began to follow her lead. But among the Viren highborn, resentment grew. A human's bond with a defect was seen as insult enough, but her rising reputation made it worse. Rumors spread that Calith sought to overthrow her sisters, that she had manipulated the human for ambition. Jonas confronted her about it one night in the strategy hall. Tell me the truth, he said. Do you want your mother's throne? Calith's mandibles twitched, the Viren sign of laughter. You think I dream of ruling those who spat on me? No, human. I dream of freedom. He studied her for a moment, then nodded. Then we're alike. The turning point. The fragile peace shattered 6 months later. A Viren civil fleet, led by the eldest daughter, Celera, attacked a human colony under violation of treaty terms. Jonas and Calith were dispatched to negotiate. When they arrived, they found the colony in ruins. The air reeked of plasma and ash. Celera's warship descended like a golden leviathan. The older daughter emerged, flawless and cruel. You dare bring her here? Celera sneered at Jonas, then turned to Calith. Little sister, you shame our mother's name. Leave the human before I erase both of you. Calith didn't answer. She stepped forward slowly, her hand resting on her plasma sphere. You burn children, she said quietly. You call that honor? They were lesser beings, Celera hissed. We cleanse weakness. Then I cleanse you. The battle was short and brutal. Calith fought like something unbound, faster than human eyes could track, her weapon glowing blue with each strike. Jonas joined the defense lines, rallying colonists and troops. When the smoke cleared, Celera's ship burned above the atmosphere, torn apart by her own arrogance. Calith limped back to the surface, bleeding but alive. Jonas caught her as she fell. You're insane, he whispered, holding her steady. Maybe, she said weakly, but you chose me. The ending. The destruction of Celera's fleet sent shockwaves through the Dominion. The Queen summoned both of them back to the royal chamber, the same one where it had all begun. Jonas and Calith stood before the throne. The Queen's golden gaze swept over them like sunlight through smoke. You have defied my will, she said. You killed your sister. Calith stood tall. I saved our name. The humans would have retaliated. The alliance would have burned. You taught us that strength means survival. I survived. For a long moment, the Queen said nothing. Then she rose. Perhaps my blood was not wasted after all. She turned her gaze to Jonas. And you, human, do you still stand by your choice? Jonas looked at Calith, her scars shining like constellations. I didn't choose wrong. I chose real. Silence fell. Then, slowly, the Queen lowered her head, not in defeat, but in acknowledgement. Then let it be written, she said. The bond of the mocked shall bind our worlds. From that day on, Calith became more than a symbol. She became the bridge between two species, her name whispered not with mockery, but reverence. Years later, when Jonas and Calith led the founding of the new Interstellar Council, she stood beside him, still scarred, still proud, still defiant. Do you regret it? She asked once as they watched a fleet of human and Viren ships launch together into the stars. Regret, he said. I only regret that I didn't meet you sooner. She tilted her head, the faintest smile touching her lips. Strange human. Strange queen, he replied. The stars reflected in her eyes as the ships disappeared into the void, the beginning of a peace no one thought possible, born from the bond between a soldier and the daughter everyone else mocked. And in the chronicles of both species, one phrase endured for generations. He chose the one they scorned, and through her, saved them all. And